This year has most certainly challenged school districts to get really creative when it comes to education. And we now know that students will be tested to see just how much they've learned or how they might be falling behind. The U.S. Department of Education will be requiring states to administer standardized testing in schools this school year. Local 12's Catherine Robinson joining us now with a message from some school districts saying, hold up, not so fast here. Catherine, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Kyle. The Education Department says testing will help schools understand the impact of the pandemic and how to help students, but some local superintendents disagree. They say testing requirements will take away valuable time so desperately needed to help students learn.
From fully remote learning to hybrid and in person, this unconventional school year looks different in every district. That's one reason Princeton City Schools Superintendent Tom Burton says standardized testing won't be a good measure of student success.
I mean, what do we think? Do we think that the results are going to show anything different than what pretty much every superintendent knows? That those that have been in person 5 days a week and done great instruction, well, you're going to see higher scores there.
Princeton has been using a hybrid model the entire year, but students will return to the classroom 5 days a week every week on March 15th. Burton says taking time to test at that point would be a disruption for students.
To me, it's a little bit short-sighted to think of then shortly thereafter, we're going to disrupt all that education. We're going to pull our great paras and support staff to help cover tests instead of allowing them to do the great work that they do in the classrooms and supporting student learning. But we're going to have to pull them to make accommodations for state testing.
In Kentucky, the third largest school district, Boone County, is preparing for testing and will follow state and federal guidelines. But Superintendent Matthew Turner says time could best be used elsewhere. Boone County and Princeton both use diagnostic tests that give them a picture of how students are doing right now, while standardized testing results typically aren't released until summer and sometimes fall.
We just got to work to catch kids up from wherever they are, meet them where they are, and help move them forward. For us, that would be some of the assessments we talked about that we could administer to our students and get that data back and then take action on that.
There is some flexibility with the testing. States can delay the test until summer or fall. They can also administer a shortened version, and that's something the Kentucky Department of Education has been working to prepare. Now, states can also be exempt from certain accountability measures that are tied to these test results. The Ohio Department of Education is looking into that. Kentucky is also requesting that accountability waiver from the U.S. Department of Education. Kyle?
All right, Catherine. Thank you so much for that live report this evening. Well, a bill was filed in the Ohio legislature that would waive testing requirements, but it hasn't left committee. Governor Mike DeWine and Senate President Matt Huffman both indicated they support standardized testing. A bill was introduced in Kentucky yesterday to allow parents to opt out of standardized testing.